Well, that's interesting. Hi, Dean Jenkins with FollowMeTrades.com, and this is the market update for the week coming up of September 18th, 2017. And I'm looking at the market and, like everybody else, trying to figure out what's going to happen next. And, we're in a bull market that is undisputable. We made 3 new record high closes on the S&P 500 this last week. And according to Dow Theory, the market moves in higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, meaning, it goes on to new highs, it pulls back, doesn't go below the previous high, and just continues on, higher highs, higher lows. What's interesting, and I'm just looking for, any kind of method, any legitimate method using technical analysis to try and predict what's going to happen next and to see where we're at. And what's really interesting is starting late March, early April, is we've had this time cycle. So I've got a time cycle indicator on here, these arcs, and what these are is just looking at the time between one event and another and then seeing if it correlates to future moves. And in this case, it does really, really nicely. So in this move where we went to make a higher high, from late March up into May, from the low up through the high to the next low, you can see we've got a time cycle, and then from this low up to the newer high and then to the new higher low. These cycles have been remarkably predictable. And now where are we at, right? We've gone from a low up into new higher highs. And in these previous 3 cycles, just over halfway, maybe 2/3 of the way through that cycle, we put in a peak and then went down to a new higher low. And so we've put in a new peak here. And if this pattern is going to continue, that's a big if. But if this pattern is going to continue, right, then we would start pulling back and we would come down like these other ones had each time down to the Ichimoku Cloud. So we would begin pretty quickly here, probably within this next week, and this pattern would complete itself on about October 11th, and we would come down at least to the Ichimoku Cloud. And what's also interesting, the Ichimoku Cloud is being projected out in the futures and into the future, several price bars, and it's predicting a support level where price could find support and then reverse back up, like it's done each of these different times, with great accuracy. What's different here is the thinness of the cloud, and that when the cloud is the thinnest, it's projecting the weakest support area. So if this pattern continues, again, big if, it's an interesting study, and we'll see. But if we start to turn down, the probability becomes that this pattern will be continued, and we could see it by October 11th pulling back to the cloud. And if the cloud is correct, and we have weak support there, maybe breaking through, and then that would be really big news because we haven't broken through the cloud since the presidential election. And so let's watch and see if this happens and be ready for maybe a modest pullback, at least down to the cloud. And then if it's below there, we got something new happening. So I'll be watching this. And again, it's speculative. I'm not saying that this is perfect and this is absolutely going to happen, but we do have it happening 3 times before with some pretty good clarity. And when there are patterns, they tend to repeat themselves until they don't. And then something new happens. So that'll be fun to watch. And again, I'm just looking, using all the available tools, trying to see what we maybe could expect coming up. So let's go ahead and move now to gold and oil as we always do, and then wrap up this update. So here's the gold futures contract on a daily chart. And if you've been following my update for any period of time, I had been talking about gold, trying to get a bullish rally going pretty much this whole year, and it made higher highs, higher lows, high, and stalled at 1307, pulled back, went up to 1307 again, pulled back, made another run at it. And I said, boy, if it breaks through 1307, we probably got a gold rally on our hand. And it broke through with some vengeance, got up to about 1360. Now remember, price moves in higher highs, higher lows. So we got a high, higher low. It looks like it's reversing here. So I expect this trend to continue. We've got growing momentum. All the indicators are green. The Ichimoku Cloud is straight up. We haven't come anywhere down close to a support area yet. So this looks bullish, and we're going to continue to trade this bullishly. So gold really looks like it's going to continue. It won't be smooth, right? It won't go straight up, but this looks like a really nice bullish rally on gold. Here is the crude oil futures contract on a daily chart, and this looks really interesting too. So for the whole year here, we've had lower highs, lows. We've had a classic downtrend, volatile downtrend, but down nonetheless. Then we got this lower high, And look, we did not go put in a new low, right? So this is the lower low, lower high, higher low, and we just went and took out this previous high here. We did get some intraday prices, I think a few ticks above this previous high. Are we going to go challenge it pretty quickly? And we've got some green indicators forming here. So it did not go put in a new low, and it's trying to get some new highs here. So when we got some momentum growing, so we may have an oil rally on our hands, at least rising prices. Tough to predict. We don't really have a wave pattern here where we can go predict a retracement area yet, but this could get some legs and head up just from a technical standpoint. You know, fundamentals in terms of supply, demand, and production, and impact from the storm and all that stuff, very complicated. But what we have is the market responding to all the available information and showing early signs of a rally, perhaps beginning in oil. So that's it for this week. Interesting stuff. If anything new develops, something becomes clearer, I'll certainly send an update for that. Otherwise, look for the next weekly installment of Beyond the Noise next weekend. Take care. Trade safe. Let's keep the winners big, the losers small, and go for long-term consistent profitability and have fun trading. When we got a system we trust, we're following the rules, we can sit back and enjoy it and increase our account and our profits over time. Thanks. Bye.